on. There we go. So welcome to this evening. We're going to have our little Rebel Finance recap, and it's going to be the week 3 money beliefs. What is inside your head about money? As I mentioned, normally I split out the weeks into 2 sections, but because this was just one topic, I'm going to just do week 3 as one go. There is going to be quite a bit of information, so I will still go through it quite quickly. Do feel free to pause the video if you're watching it on playback at any time. That's absolutely fine. And if you are live in the room, I will be posting the links and information from some of the slides onto the Facebook group afterwards. So don't worry, sit back, relax, enjoy, and delve into your subconscious. Are you ready for this? First of all, the disclaimer. We are not financial, or I am not a financial advisor. I have no qualifications whatsoever. I am just expressing what I have learned through various readings, teachings, and other things. So there we go. We're not regulated. All your own decisions. These are just ideas and opinions. They may not carry on working. So there we go. No guarantees, apart from you can have all your money back for attending tonight if you so desire. And in fact, I'll give you 100% interest on what you have paid to come along tonight. How about that? That's an absolute bonus, isn't it? So here we go. What is your relationship with money like? Do you have a conscious relationship with money? Where does it come from? Do you actually know where it comes from? That is what we're going to delve into this evening. First of all, what 3 words, if you were to think about money, what 3 words immediately pop into your head? And out of curiosity, I thought I'd look up on the What 3 Words website as to what the Bank of England was. And apparently it's the dish policy frog. So there you go. I think that pretty much sums up what's happening in the financial world at the moment. Now, Alan and Katie did a little survey with their friends as to what they thought about money. And this is a little word cloud that they put together. As you can see, Alan and Katie have a bunch of friends, mostly in the FI world, who have some great positive thoughts around money. It gives you security, peace, freedom, choice, independence, opportunity, and all those sorts of things. But you can see there's a few other words creeping in there, like greed, worry, and those sorts of things. And where have these things come from? And in fact, there's tiny words down at the bottom of dislike and panic and taxes and all those sorts of things. And evil, envy, sad. Are those things you really want to associate with money? Because if you're thinking those sorts of things about money, are you really going to want to have it in your life? Anyways, a couple of interesting points here. Is the stuff you learn as a child when you're growing up, and the stuff that you get in your younger years as you go through school and college and that sort of stuff, that is all programming that is put onto you. And that's not your responsibility. That's what other people are putting onto you. However, we're all over 18 here tonight, I think. I know I'm much older than 18 now. We need to all take responsibility for our beliefs, our feelings, our actions, and our reactions to things, because you can't really go on blaming your parents forever for the things they've said to you. I know I'd like to for some of the stuff that's I still have to deal with, but yes, that is entirely up for me to deal with. So where do these beliefs come from? Well, a whole bunch of places. Come from family. They come from your experiences, such as when you go out with friends and the sorts of things that happen there. They come from various people that have been in your life, people you trust and respect, authority figures, maybe teachers, musicians, if you're into musicians, sports people, maybe some bankers or some financial advisors. All of these sorts of people may have an influence on you. The media is a terrible one. The stuff we see actually happening on adverts, all those happy people getting themselves into debt so that they can go and do things. Is that the best thing to do? Maybe not. Radio shows, gosh, how many radio shows are there where they have a prize for various things. And when somebody wins that prize, what's the first thing they say to them? Usually it's, what are you going to spend it on? And not many people come back to say, I'm going to buy my freedom. I'm going to stick it into investments. Most people say, yeah, we're going to go on a holiday, or we're going to buy the new big screen TV and those sorts of things. Those are the kinds of things that we get indoctrinated into. Movies and things you watch, various sort of hustle movies and all that sort of things. I mean, in the 1950s, Marilyn Monroe was singing "Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend." Are they? They might like them, but really, are they their best friend? I'm not so sure. Societal expressions: money doesn't grow on trees. Put your money where your mouth is. Money makes the world go round. Money is the root of all evil. All those sorts of things. All of these things, that little earworms that sort of we hear time to time. So yeah. And then we've got our lovely financial advisors. Some of them are all right. Some of them just try and make it as complicated as possible so that you really don't want to do it yourself. And then there's banks. Banks love your money. The reason the banks love your money is because they make money out of you putting your money with them, because they give you a very low rate of interest. Granted, it's a little bit higher now, but that's because they then loan it out again to somebody else and charge them more interest, and they make a profit on the difference. So whilst it might be great that the interest rates on bank accounts are now going up, 2-3%, great. However, if you look at the flip side of it, mortgages are now sort of 6% plus and rising. And then you have marketing teams. So, people like De Beers, the sort of diamond people, actually sent marketing teams around to schools to teach people that their engagement ring should be 3 months' salary. Really? Not so sure about that one. So diamond is forever, but yeah, so's titanium. When I got married, we bought titanium wedding rings, which were actually less than £50 for two. So yes, since then she did get an upgrade to another ring, but that was when we had more money. So let's have a look at some of the traditional views people have, which is generally associated with lifestyle inflation. Buy the biggest house you can. As you earn more, buy a bigger house, because houses are always going to go up in value, aren't they? No, they don't. And we might be about to see a period when house prices are going to take a pretty serious hit with everything that's happening in the economy. To be fair, if you look at the housing market, generally there is a sort of a crash in the property market about every 18 years. We're about 3 years overdue for it to happen. So it was coming. If you look at a general cyclical thing, the only time it's a problem is if you sell. If you don't have to sell, if you can sit tight for the next 5-10 years, chances are house values will have recovered above what they will have be today. Then you've got the thought of renting is throwing away money. Now, I was certainly taught that. And in fact, when I got together with my first partner and we were thinking of renting a place together, my stepdad very, very kindly said, oh, you shouldn't rent, you should buy somewhere. So we did, and then stayed together for probably 10 years longer than we should have done. But there you go. So that's one of the consequences of buying when you should have rented. But actually, it's a calculation thing. If you figure out when you are renting, sometimes it is better to rent than to buy. If you're going to stay in a property for probably less than 5 years, it's 9 times out of 10, it is better to rent than to buy. Just because of all the other costs associated with buying. So you kind of need to put it all into a spreadsheet. But at the end of the day, it is an emotional decision as well. Are you only happy if you can own your house? So there are the two elements to it. The other one is get a good job and stick at it. That used to be true, to be fair. If you go back 50 years, maybe not even that long, getting a good job, sticking at it was certainly the done thing. But why? There's no need to do that now. If you've got a good job that you're happy with and it's paying you well and you're content there, then yeah, okay, fine, yeah, stick at it. But if it's not serving you, if you think you should be getting paid more, then, you know, there's no problem with making a change. So how are we going to actually dig into your subconscious and find out what your money beliefs are? How are we going to get to that? Best way to do it is probably to journal. Get a piece of paper and a pen. It can either be a notebook or it can be a scrap of paper. It can be a piece of paper out the recycling, whatever works for you. This is just for you personally. You don't have to share it with anybody else, or you can share it. It's entirely up to how you feel. So I would suggest you make and these are bullet points that I'm going to put onto the Facebook group, but stuff like, you know, money is, isn't, can, what can I do with it? What can I can't do with it? And all these other things around money. It's a whole bunch of questions. How do you feel about it? What's the purpose? One great thing to do is to actually write a letter to money. So start off saying, you know, dear money, or dear pound coin, or dear notes, whatever, however you fancy starting it. Dear checkbook, if you remember those. I can't remember the last time I had a checkbook. It must be at least 5-10 years ago, I think. But yes, dear money, and how do you feel about it? What would you do if money disappeared tomorrow? What would you do if you suddenly had a load of money? Think about these different things. If you had, you know, a few £100,000 delivered to your door tomorrow, would you carry on doing the job you're currently doing? That kind of takes us back to the previous slide. So, you know, if you had a load of money, would you carry on doing that job? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to think about how you could work on transitioning to either a different job or to setting yourself up as an entrepreneur. Go check out the Rebel Business School for ideas. So, and finally, how do you talk about money with friends and family? In fact, do you talk about money with friends and family? We'll come back to that one later. But as I said, journaling, great way to sort of uncover it. The other thing is, believe in this concept of what's called neuroplasticity, which basically means that you can create new neural pathways, you can create new beliefs, you can create new ways of doing things, but you do have to practice them. You do have to put effort into it. But it is all possibly doable. Okay, let you draw your own conclusions from that one. But basically, be flexible. Okay, but as we've already said, in order to change these money beliefs, you have to understand them. So the best thing is sheet of paper, get them all out. The next thing to sort of think about is, who do you surround yourself with? Because it's generally believed that you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. And this doesn't have to be physically spending time with those people. If you're spending hours of a day watching Judge Judy, then, you know, that's going to have a big influence on your perception of life. If you spend a lot of time watching the news, you know, if you've got Sky News or CNBC or another news channel on 24/7, and you're just absorbing all of their opinion, it's going to have a great influence upon how you perceive the world. The great thing is you get to choose. Okay, sometimes you do have to spend time with family that you might not want to, but in general, you get to choose who you get to spend your time with. Okay, so that's in real life, online groups, blogs, audiobooks, YouTube channels, all those sorts of things, Zoom calls. Thank you very much for being here this evening. Hopefully that it will be of benefit to you. And very handily, Alan's podcast that was released, was that today? 10th? Yes, I think it was. His podcast that came out today actually is all about your money philosophy. So this is on the Rebel Entrepreneur podcast channel. It's about your money philosophy. A chap called Craig Davenport has taken over the Rebel Entrepreneur to grill Alan about his money beliefs and philosophies. So the stuff we're talking about tonight is kind of all covered on there as well. So if you want to write down this link, you can go straight there. Or actually, I've created you a QR code as well. So I don't know if anybody wants to quickly whip out their phone and take a picture, or you can pick it up on the replay. I can see you there grabbing some phones, so I'll give you a few moments to do that. Can I get a thumbs up? Have you got it? Yeah, awesome. There you go. So yeah, so that will take you to that episode, and it is well worth listening to. So there we go. Here's one interesting belief that they do talk about in the podcast, and that is, oh, well, I can't do anything until I have some money. You know, I can't, but actually, no, flip it around. You won't have any money until you start doing something. So in that frame of mind, you know, just start from wherever you are, start with what you have, and every month pay yourself first. So the idea there is, as soon as you get your salary or your weekly wages or whatever it is that you get paid, hopefully by now you will have worked out roughly what your monthly budget is and how much you spend each month. So as soon as your money comes in, you can say, yeah, I know I should have £100 left at the end of the month, so I'm going to put that into a savings pot. Now, if you're not entirely sure that you're definitely going to have that £100 at the end of the month to lock away, then what you can do is you could stick it in a separate bank account or a separate pot within your bank account. And then at the end of the month, hopefully it's still there, then you can stick it into your investments. Okay. So, and you know, favorite thing of Katie's, it's not binary. Okay. So by that, I mean, you don't necessarily have to commit to the same amount every month. I mean, it's nice if you can. It's nice if you can at least commit to a minimum. But then at the end of the month, if you've got some money left, sometimes, yeah, it's nice to treat yourself. But also at the same time, just have a think and saying, do I really need to buy this? Or shall I stick it into my pot and it can then buy me a little bit more freedom? So there we go. I'm pretty much at the end now. Best thing to do is to talk about it. And it is absolutely essential to talk about it if you are in a relationship with somebody. Make sure you're on the same page. Make sure that you do understand what the goals are, why you're trying to achieve something, and where their money beliefs come from as well. Again, in the podcast, the chap who's talking to Alan, him and his wife have got very different perspectives on money. However, they did the Rebel Finance course and they're now much more aligned as well. So yeah, you could do it with your partner, do it with your friends, family. Could be even more taboo to talk about than sex. And on that one, if you'd rather not talk about money with the family, but you're happy to talk about sex, you could try this one. This could open up some very interesting dinner conversations. Actually, I can highly recommend this book. It has some very good relationship advice. But there we go. So to leave you with a quote from Mahatma Gandhi: your beliefs become your thoughts. Your thoughts become your words. Your words become your actions, and your actions become your habits. Your habits become your values, and your values become your destiny. Okay? So where do you want to end up? Okay. I shall leave that with you. Hopefully, for those of you that attended the live course, you will have tried the homework, you will have written that letter to money, maybe done a bit of journaling about what money is and isn't to you, and then also gone through the values exercises and all that sort of stuff that we talked about last week. And is money one of your values? If it's not, then how can you expect it to make an appearance in your life? You have to be intentional about this sort of thing. You have to have a focus as to what you want to achieve. Otherwise, you're living by somebody else's agenda, not by what you're trying to achieve. Okay, I'm going to stop the recording here and the sharing. I've lost that.